It is Wednesday night, November 9th, 2022. A brand new episode of the Kicking Out Podcast is live on the Kicking Out Podcast YouTube channel and Twitter account. Hit like, hit follow, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff if you haven't already. And if you're listening on audio the next day, hit that subscribe button there as well and give us a 5-star ranking and review. We really appreciate that. I'm Tanner Lee, along with my co-hosts Paul Zartman, Austin Shepard. Can you guys tell me what famous pro wrestling event happened 25 years ago today?
Hey, this is not Friday morning. I do not have trivia. No. What are my 4 options here?
Oh, well, I mean, it's November, so it's got to be Survivor Series. And is it the Montreal Screwjob?
Montreal Screwjob,
yeah.
25 years ago today. Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. I saw something good on Twitter. It was like what my mind thinks was 20 years ago in professional wrestling. It was like it was Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. Reality, it was Stone Cold and Rock. It's like, yeah.
So you all watched the Dark Side of the Ring Montreal Screwjob, right?
Yep.
Who booked it?
I think it was more of a shoot. Personally, I think everybody was in on it except Brett.
Okay.
From everything I've heard, that's kind of how it is.
I mean, I think Vince was, of course, Vince was in on it. I think Sean was in on it. Hebner was in on it, of course. I think Triple H knew.
Cornette knew.
Yeah.
Not shit stain.
No.
The most guilty party of that when it happened was Hebner because he did that. He was out of the ring halfway down the aisle before anybody knew what the heck happened.
He said he was so scared that Brett was going to find where he was staying in his hotel room. He put all the dressers and everything up against the door.
You got to remember the night before or 2 days before on the plane, the Brett brought Hebner up into first class and said, "Don't screw me." And he said he wouldn't.
Yep. And it is incredible that we have as much video footage backstage after that happened that we do.
Well, remember the doc that was being shot.
Right.
That was really good.
Yeah.
We were watching it. And they caught some of the stuff that WWF at the time. Was it WWF? Yeah, WWF.
Yeah, it was still F.
Yeah, they didn't want you to see.
Yep.
I mean, he knocked a man out.
I wish they would have got that on tape. That would have been great. But
yeah.
But I can't imagine what the reaction would have been like if social media was back then. I mean, look what happened at Brawl Out, and Montreal Screwjob was even bigger than that. So
yeah.
pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's Chris Jericho's 52nd birthday.
I was getting ready to ask you what happened 52 years ago. The GOAT was born.
Chris Irvine was born. So, but he was not on Dynamite tonight. I thought he'd at least make an appearance. But
Fozzie's overseas right now.
Yeah, good point. So,
and I saw something, and it could have been a while back. It was social media. Is there a masked singer going on right now? There's somebody that came out today and he sang a song and they're like, "That's 100% Jericho."
Oh yeah,
I'm guessing that stuff's pre-recorded, but
all wrestling fans knew it was him right away. It's like you can just tell. You can tell it's him.
So I mean, I don't watch the show, so I'm guessing it's going on right now. It must be pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So,
just like his appearance on Impractical Jokers was pre-recorded.
Well, Impractical Jokers is really hard to do live.
Well, I mean, like so far in advance.
Oh,
I still can't believe those guys can have as many episodes as they do. Because how do people not recognize them more?
Because when you hide in plain sight, nobody notices you.
I guess it is New York City. There's a lot of people that probably don't watch TV. So
yeah,
I don't know, but anyways, fun Dynamite tonight from Boston. We did not get a debut that was kind kind of hinted at on Twitter today. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Mercedes, aka Sasha Banks, was tweeting photos of her in Boston today. So she's just trying to work all the marks, I guess.
Yeah, she was backstage at WWE New Mexico house show last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I mean, they came out and said she was there, but she has officially not signed with WWE. I don't know. Good for her. I guess she's a free agent.
Well, you know, it would be huge if AEW could get her not only for in-ring, but I think Warner Brothers, I should say, Discovery would love to have her for her Hollywood stuff she's starting to get into.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I think she'll end up back in WWE, though, if I had to guess.
I don't care for in-ring work, so.
No?
She's a Triple H gal.
She is.
Her and Bailey.
Yep.
You know, one of the I think they main evented one of the first NXT takeovers, and they tore the house down.
Mm-hmm.
Was it it wasn't a ladder match, was it? Or was it a 2 out of 3 match? It had a gimmick to it, but they tore the place down.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what happens with her. But I don't know. It was a good show tonight. I was expecting something really big to happen, though. Bryan Alvarez kind of hinted that was going to be a newsworthy episode. And I don't know, define newsworthy, I guess.
I thought there was 2 segments of this show, and even in including the main event, which I'll explain later, there was 2 segments of this show that trumped the whole show, and they had zero wrestling.
Yeah. I know one of them.
Yeah.
Like every week.
But, I think the other one, my other opinion might surprise you guys a little bit.
Okay.
We'll get
all right.
Start off hot tonight with a 8-man tag match, the Acclaimed and FTR versus Swerve and Our Glory and the Guns. I noticed, I thought the Guns attire was a little HBK-like in the 90s.
Very HBK.
And the one guy was walking down the ramp like HBK. He had the shoulder strut going.
Yep.
The music wasn't there. I kind of like the new music. It fit. Yeah. Making fun of HBK.
I like how they did that though against FTR, which are Bret Hart lovers. So I was surprised Cash and Dax weren't wearing a little pink tonight, not only for Bret Hart, but teaming with the Acclaimed.
Do you think they growing up, they had to call him Uncle Sean, right?
Had to have.
They had to have.
Had to have. A lot, and some DX references tonight in the match. Couple cross chops and suckets and but yeah, we got a Daddy S appearance before the match. He booked it. He booked it down the aisle.
I loved it.
If I was going to run that fast, whew, I wouldn't. I'd have hit the ring, and then somebody would have had to have pulled me out because I'd have been dead if I ran that fast.
Let's be honest, Paul. You'd be with Titus O'Neil right under the ring.
Oh, ouch! No, I'd get in the ring pretty well. Thank you very much.
I would have fell.
That dude is still lucky he wasn't decapitated.
Oh my god!
Yes.
It had to be in centimeters.
Yeah. Fun match. Max Caster had some really good raps tonight, like usual, but I really enjoyed the Tom Brady line. Even the Kyrie Irving line was pretty good. We did see the Firm come down with the Ass Boys, Stokely Hathaway and W. Morrissey, but then they went to the back. Back and forth match. The result was never in doubt, though. The Acclaimed FTR won when there was a mic drop combination and Austin Gunn got dropped by the Big Rig, which the Guns did hit the Big Rig also in the match.
I did do that.
So, Morrissey didn't go back.
He did. Was he at ringside the whole time?
He was at least at the middle and end of it. He may have went back to begin with, but he ended up coming back out.
Maybe Stokely was stayed out too.
Stokely and Morrissey gave a bro hug at the top of the ramp, and Stokely left.
Okay.
Which made me smile.
Okay. All right. So, but the winners to start tonight, the 2 hottest tag teams in AEW, maybe in all of wrestling.
Yeah. And I like how they shared a little moment a couple different times in the ring. A couple moments you thought, oh, here it goes. It's going to break down. And they worked right through it. It's pretty good tag team action.
Yeah, I thought even the Guns looked good in this match. Keith Lee and Swerve, I really love the chemistry those two guys have. Even though I think that's coming to an end here in about next Saturday.
Yeah.
But,
well, Swerve did go for the fist bump, and Keith Lee kept walking.
Yep.
Yeah, you look at FTR and the Acclaim, two of the top 4 tag teams in the United States right now. Mm-hmm. You know, don't include New Japan, which they got some bangers there too. But besides the Usos and the Briscoes, who else you got right now? So, yeah, you knew the outcome of the match, so.
Motor City Machine Guns, maybe you can throw them in there.
Yeah, you just don't see them much anymore.
No, you don't, because you got to go to channel whatever you say, 11,000.
11,047-4269.
My TV doesn't go that high.
Well, special order.
I got a special remote from RTC. It takes me 4 minutes to get to there.
All 20 fans in attendance. But no, I totally get it. FTR, it was reported by Wrestling Observer. There could be the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
Tokyo Dome in early January.
Yes.
So that's going to be awesome.
You hear the other rumor? Ospreay?
Yeah, Mox Ospreay potentially, and then maybe the Bucks.
How stiff will that match be?
Oh, God. Ospreay also came out this week. He wants to get in the ring with Ricochet one more time and Seth Rollins. So
I saw the Seth Rollins part. Going to be very hard to do.
Yeah.
Although we get, not to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm best at that. WWE letting Shinsuke go out and do a show overseas for
Noah,
Pro Wrestling Noah. I think it's a New Year's Day type deal against the Muda.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Muda's doing like a retirement tour, I think, is the way I read it. So I like the open-mindedness of Trips there.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got to try to do a little business if you can. I mean, just makes
absolutely.
sense.
Look, if you could do it once every 5 years,
yep.
Can you imagine the ticket sales and the buys you're going to do?
Yep.
Absolutely.
I mean, you'll make more money. You'll make so much money when you go to Thanksgiving and Vince gives you a bunch of stuff. You can just throw hundreds at him and say, "Shut up." Shut up in Vince's 42-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah,
that looks like Stephanie. We all saw that.
Yeah, that was a little creepy.
Yeah, just like get one of those money guns and just shoot hundreds at him.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you he's eating steak and ketchup.
Vince probably does put ketchup on his steak.
That's the root. That's what I've seen online that he does. He gets steak and ketchup like at restaurants. So.
And you're not allowed to talk to him while he's eating his steak.
Or don't sneeze.
Don't sneeze.
God,
sneezing's bad.
What a freak. But good opening match tonight. I really enjoyed it. And I also, speaking of FTR, I saw where Dax is going to face Speedball Mike Bailey at an event after a day or two after Thanksgiving. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Contrast of style, so
why not?
They're both. Well, one of them I know is super professional, so he'll carry the match.
Yeah. We then got another banger of a promo out of MJF, but this one was not in the arena. This one was at the #1 sports podcast in the world, Pardon My Take, with Big Cat and PFT. I was surprised to see those guys on AEW tonight. Was that thumbs down to MJF or
no.
Pardon My Take? Or
look, I'm one of the biggest Barstool fans you'll ask. But those two guys get some of the best guests, and they can't get out of their own way to have a darn good interview. Go back a couple years when they interviewed JR. And they were – I don't want to say they were making fun of what JR has done, but they didn't ask him any serious questions. They had JR, and they could have dove down deep. It's after his wife passed, after he left WWE, right into AEW. Like, they had millions of people listening to them, and they put too much comedy into it.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big part of my take. Now, like you said, it's number one sports podcast. So you go over Mr. Walker, which I think is hilarious and very
I love that bit he did yesterday where on the wrestling Twitter where he's like, all right, MJF's coming back on my podcast.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
So I get it from a business standpoint, from Barstool and AEW, perfect.
Right.
Personally, and this is 100% personal, I'm just not a big Cat and PFT fan. Take off the stupid sunglasses, just like I tell Excalibur, take off the stupid mask. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
I will say,
wear sunglasses next week.
I'm not an avid Pardon My Take listener, but I did think it was cool that they got him on tonight, just get him a little more buzz. And then MJF just took over. Love the direction he did with this promo, which he not spoiled, but he hinted at earlier tonight that it was going to be a history lesson for everybody. And look at Moose there pulling out the sunglasses.
Why not?
He's a jerk.
MJF was saying doctors inform him if you want to be 110% for Full Gear, he shouldn't be on the road. Says the most important match of his career is coming up, but it could be the most important match in sport history. This bout could create the face of the next generation, and we've seen that in people like Bruno Sammartino, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock, and John Cena. They're generational talents like him. MJF says he needs a long title run to put his name in history, but he has to beat Jon Moxley to do that. He thinks Jon Moxley's a lowlife from the scums of Cincinnati, but he respects him because he was born with 2 left feet and no athletic bones in his body. He respects that Moxley had to work hard to defy the odds and drive far to make no money. Moxley then became the best on earth, but MJF was born to be a professional wrestler. He can do movies and TV shows and fly the flag of wrestling. He thinks he can get people talking about the business again. He says the throne is there for the taking. He will do that. He's tired of waiting. He's had all the spotlights taken away from him, such as Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo, Matt Hardy's Humpty Dumpty fall, which that popped me.
That was great.
And then he claims Jericho took spotlight from him for a year, and then when he returned, it was all about a press conference. But at Full Gear, I did too. At Full Gear, he's grabbing it, and Moxley will have to pry it from his dead hands. And at Full Gear, the devil gets his due.
So one thing that I liked about him, the 15. You wrestled for $15 for 15 people. I thought that was I thought that was a good touch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure at some point Moxley wrestled for $15.
Oh yeah,
in front of 15 people.
Mm-hmm. Says in his book.
Yeah. No, I thought that was a really good touch by MJF.
Yeah, he just every week the guy just delivers. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, how do I not root for this guy next Saturday?
So, do you consider John Cena a generational talent?
No. He's talented. No. Don't get me wrong. I think he's better in the ring than a lot of people give him credit for. But he was just the guy to take the company on his back when there was nobody else to do it.
And he sold a ton of merch.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's where he made his money.
Yep.
And outside the ring, he was a stand-up human being.
Still is with the Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Not that I hate on the guy because there were some entertaining spots from him. I thought he was really good on the mic, but in the ring,
yeah.
Right.
But
I get it. He drew a lot of money for Vince McMahon.
Well, and Hogan, I wouldn't call Hogan a generational talent.
No.
But, not in ring, but what he did, there's nobody's ever going to be bigger in professional wrestling than Hulk Hogan.
If we could go back and do the math/formula and put modern day dollars on how much money Dusty Rhodes, I should say, and Flair drew compared to modern day money, I think we'd be shocked.
Yeah.
They made good money back in the 70s, or late 70s, 80s, and 90s. Don't get me wrong. They made great money. Obviously, look at their lifestyles. But if you compared it to today's dollars, if they did that from let's just say 2010 to 2023 here coming up. Can you imagine how much money those guys would have made?
Yeah. A lot. But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it's hard not to argue. I mean, I think AEW's got to pull the trigger. I think they got to do it now on MJF.
You do it now, and this is what sucks about today's age. When the whole locker room stuff happened, the press conference thing, Mox, we knew, which we shouldn't have known. We knew Mox went in Monday morning. Tony Khan, hey dude, I'm going to cancel my 6-week vacation. Put that aside. Put my family aside, and I'm going to put this company on my back. And here's how we're going to do it. I'll give you 2 months here, or whatever it was. So I feel that we know that. And so in the back of our mind, we know that's coming. It's entitled to Mox. Like, look, I got you. I bailed you out of a situation. Here we go. Where in 1989, we would have never known that, guys.
No, we wouldn't have.
Even with those stupid 1-800 numbers or 1-900 numbers you would call the dirt sheets back in the day. You had to pay for them 25 cents a minute or whatever the hell it was. Okay.
That was a different thing that was 25 cents a minute.
Oh, was that the
was the 900s.
But I'm just saying we wouldn't have known about it back then. Now we know about it, so it's in the back of our minds, and it's playing in our decision making going into the next pay-per-view.
You're right.
Yeah.
My dad always likes to tell me a story. It was in the 80s. He and my mom were on a plane, and Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth, and Iron Sheik were on the plane. And Dad's like, what the heck's Sheik and Macho Man doing on this plane?
And they weren't supposed to be deceived.
No, exactly. So that was the first time, because before that he thought pro wrestling was real, like, because he used to watch in the 80s, and he saw it. He goes, okay, what's going on here? This is kind of weird.
Well, you weren't born then. Okay.
No, I was not.
But in the 80s, yes, wrestling was real.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes.
It's the way I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Serena Deeb got fired from WWE, is because they were trying to stay with the kayfabe, and she was supposed to be straight edge, yet was caught doing drugs and drinking.
That'll do it. That'll do it. Well, Stokely Hathaway made another appearance on TV. In a video segment, saying he thought he'd be by MJF's side when he became world champion, but instead he is dick riding. Yes, that made it on television. He's dick riding with John Moxley. And he says, win, lose, or draw full gear, he will see him in hell.
Next.
Yeah, because and see, this was poorly placed for me, because we're fresh off the MJF stuff where they ask him about the firm and he says that doesn't matter right now, and then we go into a promo that says, oh yeah, he's out of the firm, screw him.
I don't know, I still think MJF's gonna do something dirty next Saturday.
He doesn't need that Dynamite diamond ring, but he'll use it.
Hey, if I think the way it's going to go down, we're going to write Mox off of TV. Mox does the professional thing, puts him over clean. Okay,
that'd be big.
I don't think Mox wants it any other way. Not that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally going to hand the torch of this company, and he's not going to do it. Hey, boys, this ain't GCW where he gives it back to Nick Gage because of the firm, right?
Right.
Hey, that's the only way that was going to happen. Now we're in the I'll say we're in the second biggest company in America, and we're on the coattails of the first. Okay, they're going to do it the right way. He's going to do it the right way. He goes over clean.
It'll be interesting. To see.
I'm good either way. So
yeah.
I've liked MJF since he was Cody's buddy. So
I like MJF from NWA Hollywood. Remember, did anybody ever watch those shows on Fight TV? They were free.
No.
NWA Hollywood. So it was basically before Billy Corgan just bought them. They still had an affiliate out in Hollywood. That's where Bo Cephas came from, RIP. That's where Tim Storm used to perform a lot. Nick Aldis came out and performed some. So, and MJF was 2021 maybe then?
Yeah, I think that's where he got his feet wet, and then he went to MLW.
Yeah. So, and there was 15 people there, maybe 18. But I just
on a good night.
They were 30, 40-minute episodes free on Fight TV, so you watched them.
This next match was a fun one. I was torn who I wanted to win. Ethan Page versus Eddie Kingston, the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament first round. Good match, back and forth. We saw Ortiz. First time we've seen Ortiz on Dynamite in a while. He was Eddie Kingston's side. Ethan Page ended up getting the win at the end. Not clean, but he got the win. He hit an avalanche Ego's Edge off the turnbuckle, which was pretty impressive for the win. So Ethan Page moves on and will face the winner of Roosh and Bandito, which is going on Friday on Rampage, which is going to be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it coming. Good match.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt Eddie at all because there was some interference.
Yep. And then on the opposite side of the bracket, sorry, Shep, I'll get back to you. On the opposite side, we have Brian Cage against Dante Martin, and then Ricky Starks versus Lance Archer. All three of the remaining matches are going to happen Friday. So.
The big thing with Eddie King, and you guys are going to laugh at me, and I know coming into AEW, the guy scraped and clawed his way up. I remember him telling stories about how he sold his gear just to pay the rent.
Mm-hmm.
Get this guy some wrestling boots. Have you noticed his ankles? They're on the side of the boot. Like they look like, I don't know. I know he's done well for himself or better for himself now. I feel like the guy's going to snap an ankle at any minute.
Yeah.
If you want to have the black boots with the yellow strings, that's fine, but get some support. I don't know. That stuff bothers me, I guess.
No. You're right. Because there's actually, I know a guy who on the indie circuit, same type of scenario. He always looks like he's stepping on the side of his shoe, not the sole of it. And his trainer flat out looked at him and goes, you either get new wrestling boots or you get out of the ring because you're going to end up breaking your ankle because those don't fit right.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
So,
but back to the match, I thought it was well executed where it didn't hurt Eddie. He came out, worked pretty darn stiff.
mm-hmm.
But like we all talked about earlier in the week, we think Ethan Page is going to make a little run here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's set up to be Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks. I think Bandito will beat Roosh, and then Ethan Page will beat him. I think Cage will beat Dante Martin. Ricky will beat Lance Archer. Then you have Cage, Starks. There's plenty of history there. So that'd be a good little trip down memory lane there. And then, I don't know, out of Ricky and Ethan, that'd be a good one at Full Gear if that's what they go with.
And I don't know much. I know Ethan was in MLW and Impact. No, not MLW. What was the Evolve? Sorry, Evolve.
Yep.
But I don't know if him and MJF have ever crossed any paths, have they? I don't think they have.
I don't think so, except just in AEW.
Like I said, Ethan was involved, and I know he's in Impact because he's famous for wrestling himself with a green screen.
Yeah. Karate Man.
Yeah. So.
And he and Josh Alexander were a fun tag team, too.
So I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but whatever. Ethan Page versus MJF. Who's the face? Who's the heel? MJF wants to be a heel, but he's so darn over.
Yeah.
I'd say right now it'd be MJF's the face out of those two.
Even I know Ricky Starks is leaning towards the face now, with his split from Team Taz and the way he's going. But I mean, if our prediction's right, those two in the final, I don't know.
Well, and like I told you guys earlier this week, if they wanted to go Stark's direction against MJF, Winter is Coming is in Texas. He's from Houston.
Yeah.
Get the crowd on the side that way. But
you get your crowd on your side that way. He's the face. MJF still comes in the heel.
I think that match earlier in the night at Full Gear will tell us a lot what's going to happen in the main event and how it's going to happen. So I think if Ethan Page wins, MJF goes over maybe clean. But if Ricky Starks wins, I think MJF goes over dirty, and there's your heel-face matchup. Just spitballing. I could be way wrong.
No, I'm good.
We're all way wrong usually.
Damn you, TK.
Yeah.
I think it's because TK listens and goes, man, we can't let those guys be right.
There it is. You're on to something there. We then got a TNT Open Challenge from Wardlow that R.A. Daivari was already in the ring accepting. Nope, I missed the segment. Excuse me. Renee Paquette was shown backstage with Roosh in the Dark Order. Jose told Ten that Roosh is going to win, and when he becomes champion, Ten will get the first title shot at Roosh. Likes the way he looks and what he does. Roosh says he doesn't give second opportunities. Whatever. I don't know.
Like the new mask that Ten and Uno had. Those were kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the little when Roosh becomes champion, no offense, and then continues.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he just had to say, oh, I know she knows this is, I'm supposed to say this, but I want to make sure she understands. I don't mean anything. So
we see Daivari in the ring. He says he's going to give the full services of his butler in exchange for the TNT Championship. Then Wardlow and Samoa Joe, Warjo come out for the impromptu title match. Wardlow launches the butler out of the match, headbutts Daivari, falls with a big lariat, then powerbomb Symphony, 1, 2, 3, squash match. After the match, Wardlow calls out Powerhouse Hobbs. He and Hobbs have been getting into it lately. Says he's finally got a suitable opponent, and he thanks him for coming out like a man. However, Wardlow says the title will always be his, and he's going to take every title in the company. Which then, if you're paying attention to Samoa Joe in the background, his facial expression didn't like that. Samoa Joe smacks him in the back of the head with the ROH TV title. He then sets in the Koenig clutch and puts Wardlow to sleep. He then stands tall with the ROH TV title, but Hobbs screams he'll come after Joe as well. So,
yeah.
I kind of predicted this. I think 2 weeks ago on the podcast, but I thought it'd be more when we're getting close to Final Battle. I'm kind of surprised they pulled the trigger before Full Gear on this.
Yeah, because it was set up something. We were talking that something would happen at Full Gear that would cause Joe to switch, and then they would have a battle at Final Battle.
Mm-hmm. So
I like Joe better as a heel, anyways.
He is better as a heel. He's way better as a heel. I'm thinking Hobbs might get this title off Wardlow if they face at Full Gear, and then Wardlow goes after Joe in the Final Battle.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Hopefully, it's a multi-match storyline between these two guys, because the size of these two guys and how athletic they are, I think they could. And me on my big versus small or big. I feel, but these two guys are so darn athletic. I think I could take a multi-match series with these two. Whether it's on AEW or ROH.
Give me 3 individual matches. I want to see Hobbs in the mix too. I want to see Hobbs Wardlow. I want to see Hobbs Samoa Joe, and I want to see Joe and Wardlow. So
when's the last time we saw Hobbs on Dynamite, like wrestle
though? Starks.
Yeah, he lost at Grand Slam.
Which was
Starks.
September.
September. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's been a while, so maybe this is his push. Dude looks like he's $1 million. He needs to get better on the mic, but
he does. I mean, he's chiseled out of stone, like me.
Just like you.
Just like me.
Just like you. We then got a face-off that was advertised all week. Saraya and Britt Baker. Before I get into the details, what did you guys think of this?
I enjoyed it because you could sense the raw emotion from Saraya. But Britt was a little off on her cues a few different times. So it kind of threw me back a little bit.
I thought the timing was off a little bit. And Saraya, something just isn't connecting with me. I don't think it's connecting with a lot of the crowd either, because the crowd flipped and got on Britt's side during this.
This was this was better. This was a better segment than the MJF promo. This was so raw emotion, so personal. It had Paul E. written all over it. They talked about her past, called her a superstar.
Yeah.
Now, I've looked on a couple things. I don't think Paige ever worked the Tokyo Dome.
I don't recall her working there.
Emerald J, GCW announcer. I know this has nothing to do with that. He is a history savant right there with Cornette. And he made a comment on Twitter like, I can't find out where she ever worked the Tokyo Dome. Now, she worked over Japan and stuff like that with WWE, but I think it was Corrigan Hall, but never the Tokyo Dome. But hey, again, she's in the moment, whatever. And then, like you said, I thought Britt was a little slow coming back, but once she got going, man, she nailed it. She went personal. And then, then Saraya came back with, I drove around Europe working for free just because I love this. I got hit by a car and I worked that same night because I love this business. Like I said, that had a Tommy Dreamer versus Raven personal promo all over again. And then I wrote resumes to promoters and I got turned down because I'm a female. Like that one hit hard. Like, dude, I was hooked on this thing. Like I missed a little bit of the show. I talked to you guys, so I was kind of fast forwarding through, and I got about halfway through, and I'm like, I'm going.
I gotta watch this.
And I went back to the start and watched it. Like, man, it was awesome. It was awesome.
I did like Britt's line a lot about we don't take walk-ins.
Yeah.
I was like that was pretty clever. And then I thought Saraya's line about that she was embarrassed in front of millions, which can hit on a few different things out there. Could hit on her sex tape and her whole relationship with Alberto Del Rio. And then she talked about her drug issues being out there to the public. So she definitely, you could tell at first, I thought she felt a little uncomfortable kind of going, she's still uncomfortable. Looks like being off script without a script doing promos, but tonight was a lot better than what the previous times we've seen her cut a pro on AEW. So,
and when she was talking about being 100% clear, you saw the emotion.
Yep.
So,
she had to turn away.
I'll take no script and raw emotion any day of the week.
Absolutely.
I also like that she said that Britt was put on a pedestal. She was given a spot by Tony Khan and got fed all QT's trainees.
That was great.
That was great. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Now, there was one bit of comedy. And let's see if you guys can catch this. What was the one bit of comedy in this little bit that did involve the two girls?
I'm looking back in the notes here.
Watch Tony Schiavone try to get out of the ring.
Yeah, he was confused on how to get out of there for a minute. Like, I mean, he might as well just hug the middle turnbuckle for a moment.
Middle rope got him where the sun don't shine. And I chuckled I thought that was great.
Well, I wonder if Conrad will give him any hassle next week's WCW for that. Or what happened when? Not WCW. What happened when? Yeah. No, it was good. I'm surprised though. I'm surprised. I think you guys both liked this segment better than I did, but I'm really surprised Shep's put it over so much. So a little shocked there.
Emotion.
The raw emotion, the personal aspect of it. Like you said, I thought the first start when it was Britt's turn to counteract. She was a little slow. I agree with that. But when she got going and she brought up the background, I love that AEW throws down the curtain where, hey, I know you worked for WWE
right.
and WWF, and it didn't work. That's why you're here now. So let's capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm.
Calling her a superstar. A superstar. I love that.
Yeah.
Because you weren't allowed to be called a professional wrestler over there. You were called a superstar. So I love that. I love the Then she comes back. She's like, you beat a bunch of QT junk. It's like, QT's the head trainer. I love it.
Yep.
Like, obviously she was not trained by QT. She's an outsider. She's a walk-in. I love it.
They appeal to their fan base. They know who their fan base are. They know AEW fans are more of the hardcore fans, and they don't, kick aside their intelligence. I feel like that's what WWE, especially under Vince McMahon, did a lot of times.
Yes.
It made you feel stupid.
Yes. And guess what? Britt addressed that right off the bat. Made fun of the AEW fans. She tried to play the heel here. She really
tried.
did.
She tried.
Yep.
But she did such a darn good job. The crowd started cheering her.
Yep.
It's the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it proved what Britt said at the very beginning. He was more fickle than an AEW fan.
Yeah.
Just look at them on the IWC. They're pretty hardcore. Backstage, you saw Sanjay Dutt, another one of Shep's favorites, thanking QT Marshall and Cole Carter for last week. They gave him the money. QT says next time's half off. Then Danhausen appears, takes a shot at them for wearing hats, and Lee Johnson be on their side because Lee Johnson cost Danhausen the match on Dark against QT. QT suggests that Orange defends his All-Atlantic title on Friday against Lee Johnson, and
Let's do it.
Let's do it right away before he even finishes the sentence. Let's do it. So that's going to be the Rampage main event on Friday. Trent then calls Jay Lethal and his group scumbags, and they arrange a match, which was already advertised. So,
well, that's why it was earlier in the day we saw these comments.
Yeah.
It was a weird transition because it was all the guys there, and then they took a look at the best friends, and then they went back, and Trent's challenging, and half the people are gone now. It was very weird.
Yep. We saw Lethal attack Trent when he's trying to make his way to the ring. We saw Danhausen and Chuck Taylor. About to say Chuck Evans. Chuck Taylor come out to the ring to make it 3-on-3. Danhausen tries to curse Satnam Singh at one point, but Satnam gives him a headbutt after he does hit Sanjay where the sun doesn't shine, right below the belt there. In the end, Jay Lethal gets the win, hitting the lethal injection, which I love that move. That's one of my favorite finishing moves in AEW. It's beautiful when he pulls it off. And after the match, Shivani tries to interview the winners, but Sanjay tells him to shut up as he welcomes out JEFF, JARRETT, the last outlaw, Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett says he's here because when a friend calls, he shows up. They put a plan together, and he explains how they're connected as he signed Lethal to his first deal, while he and Dutt have taken over promotions all over the globe. He then says Satnam Singh is legit giant, and not someone who wears red skinny jeans. Little shot at Braun Strowman there. And also took a shot at Triple H by saying, I don't have the line right in front of me, but something about circus nose or something like that. Circus, I don't know, something. But I like the Braun Strowman shot more than I did the Triple H one, to be honest. He says they already put Darby in the body bag, and they'll put Steen in the body bag. And then he gets into it with a crew member who's trying to tell him that his time is up. He tells him to never wind him up again. He chases him away as the segment comes to an end.
Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, we're talking about a big announcement. Now comes Jeff Jarrett. No, not for me.
I think we talked about it last week. Like, we figured that we're going to get Lethal and Jarrett again as a tag team. We saw them on Ric Flair's last match against Flair and Andrade. But I think Sting and Darby will put on a better showing than Flair and Andrade.
God, I hope so.
I think Jarrett can still go. I think we talked about that too. I felt like this was a weird way around to get there.
Yeah, Jarrett can talk, but the problem is he doesn't stop talking.
It's true.
I mean, you got a point A to point B, and you end up at point D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P first.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting with him now in the backstage role, too. in the company. So
well, and again, he's in charge of house shows, right?
Yeah, some touring. It sounds like AEW wants to do a few more house shows next year. Talent want to work more matches.
He didn't last very long in charge of WWE house shows.
Not at all. Twice. 2 different times. So we'll see.
I'm kind of with Paul. Next.
We'll see where it goes. We then heard from Jon Moxley, AEW World Champion Jon Moxley, I should say, came out with William Regal. Jon Moxley said he was young and thought he knew it all when he first met William Regal, and he loved to talk trash. He wanted to be like Regal, feared and respected. And to get his respect, he tried to pick a fight with him. That didn't go well as Regal kicked the hell out of him. That pissed him off as he found where he was on the food chain, so he had to go evolve, and then the next time he knocked Regal out. He said that reminds him of MJF. He says right now he doesn't know as he is having an existential, I think it is, crisis.
Say that 3 times really fast.
Yeah. No thanks.
I'm glad Tanner has the read tonight.
He says MJF talk of a big-time world champ, but Moxley's a multimillionaire and multi-world champ, so he's not buying it. He says MJF's parents get close from JCPenney and take some other shots at him. Fake diamond ring. And did you see the JCPenney? Regal looks in his coat to see where it's from.
Hey, I've got clothes from JCPenney.
I have too. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But
back in the day, there was this is aging me, right? We lived in North Manchester, Indiana, and we went to Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne was like 30 minutes away, and there was a huge JCPenney's in the Glenbrook Mall, which is like completely empty nowadays, I think.
Yeah, but JCPenney's still there.
But dude, JCPenney's played. It played well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regal's reaction just cracked me up. He then says that MJF calls himself the devil, and it's amusing to him because he says he's met the devil, he's looked him into his eyes, he's met bad people, he's seen them do very bad things. MJF is not that at all. Moxley and Regal want MJF to fulfill his potential. He's not worried about that. He's worried about what is in his guts. He says MJF needs to remember that everything he's done up until now has been easy. Pretty good promo.
I wouldn't say easy, but yeah.
I just want to know, after MJF wins the World Heavyweight title, is he going to do some shout or throwback to when Samoa Joe shoved him into a wall?
As an extra?
As an extra, yeah, as a security guard.
Yeah.
They got to revisit that sometime.
Somehow, even if it's just a quick one line in a promo from him.
I would love to see if he wins the world title, not necessarily involved at Final Battle, but as Joe walks out of a locker room, MJF's walking by with the strap over his shoulder, and Joe just gives him the nudge. Sets
That'd
up
be pretty good.
Feud. I mean, it could.
Simple.
You don't. Although all your purists will say, "Well, you just buried the AEW champion on ROH television." Like, no, you're building the block. Like,
right.
Yeah, you could make it work. People that understand that he got hit as an extra would understand that bit where other people wouldn't. So,
yeah,
it's still hard for me to look at this Moxley MJF match and not think what could have been with Punk and MJF 2 or 3, I guess, if Punk didn't get hurt and go off in the press conference. Just would have been interesting to see how they would have built that up, and would we have got the same result?
I mean, at this point, after what we know now, when 100% of this Punk stuff is 99.99% Punk's fault. Mm-hmm. At first, I didn't think that. I thought Punk had a little bit of leg to stand on. But after all this stuff, the investigation, dirt sheets, yada, 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 I mean, it's, like I said, it's his deal, you know? So, yeah. You think Punk would have played nice if he had to? He would have had to put him over. Clean.
I know. I've went back. I've watched the Eddie Kingston promos with Punk and even MJF. It's like, man, they were telling the truth. I mean, of what we know now. I mean,
he obviously is a locker room cancer.
Yeah. I mean, a year ago, we thought, this guy's changed. He's here to put the young talent over, and it wasn't really the case. It's too bad, but.
Yeah. And then once all said and done, he supposedly still has the wrestling bug.
Yeah. We'll see once he's healed up in 6 to 7 months or whatever. And hey, right now, he's still not out of his, as far as we know, he's not out of his contract yet. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I could think of at the time was if you still got the wrestling bug, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you somehow got out of your contract, you got fired, whatever, he could show up at the Tokyo Dome with AEW talent on the ballot. I can see that. He always said he wanted to work for New Japan.
Well, and I understand why Triple H would definitely be interested in bringing him back if that's something that can happen, just from dollar signs. But you got to be careful there. If their locker room's in the best state it's been in years, you don't want somebody to come in there and screw that up.
No, but could you imagine the promos he could come in and cut and just bury AEW?
Well, and the thing, if they could make it happen, Stone Cold had that good return match with Kevin Owens and supposedly wants to do at least another match, not a couple more. If they could do Punk as a heel against Stone Cold, do what they should have done back in 2010-ish, 11-ish, you do that, that's one of your main events of WrestleMania. Prince money.
Yeah. But does he buy anybody else ice cream?
I want a bar.
Yeah, ice cream sounds good right now.
Yeah.
And I brought all the Punk stuff up because I was getting to this vignette that was shown of the Elite and all of their great moments being skipped through in pictures and videos, while the cogs from Full Gear poster are seen as well. So, pretty good indication we're going to see them next Saturday at Full Gear.
Or it's a big swerve and they're not going to show up.
I think they gotta.
They'll be there.
Now, my question is, and this was reported by Fightful yesterday and a few other websites, they filed for the trademark Wayward Sons yesterday. The Young Bucks did. And somebody found a clip on Being the Elite from this past year where they said, in a perfect world, we'd be coming out to Wayward Sons by Kansas. Carry on, Wayward Sons.
But that's used.
If Tony Khan wants it, he'll buy that. He'll buy that song.
Yeah, but that's going to be a big price tag because it's been used.
It's on Guitar
for 15 years. It's on Guitar Hero. It's on Supernatural. I know. But other than that, okay, if it's not that, are they going to rebrand themselves and call themselves Wayward Sons instead of the Young Bucks? Or something? I mean,
if I remember correctly, Papa Buck is a musician, right?
He is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Have him out there, completely dark stage. He gets on the keyboard and starts playing Wayward Sons, Kansas style. Whoa, that's a hell of an intro, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's going to know that song.
Yep.
And you just put Papa Buck out there, starts playing it on the keyboard. I don't know if he can sing or not. I think he can, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he came up with the Young Bucks theme song. He comes up with a lot of the BT music.
Yeah. So put him out there, start just nailing the keyboard.
Or even Mikey Ruckus, who makes a lot of themes for AEW.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on to see if anything comes out of the Wayward Sons trademark they filed for.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nonetheless, another good vignette, and I knew they were going to do something tonight because the Young Bucks earlier today on their Twitter header, it ended up being the inside picture of the clock that was on the vignette tonight for Full Gear. I couldn't figure out what it was, so and then I'm like, oh, that's what it is. So. Yeah. Now, who do they face is the question if they are in a match next week. Is it Death Triangle for the trios? Because we haven't heard anything about the trios titles.
It's got to be.
So they got to return next week then, right? Next Wednesday?
Unless they...
we talked about this on the podcast that you got to bring them back.
Unless they bring him back and involve him in the tag title scene right away. Because everybody... thought we got gypped of FTR and Bucks.
True.
3. Would have been 3, right?
Yeah. They're due for a rubber match.
You know, everybody at the time thought the Bucks wimped out and said, "Hey, we're gonna put them over. Let's put us in the trios deal because Kenny's coming back." Maybe they come back and get involved that way. But the logical thing to do is, you bring him back and put him in the trios.
Yeah, I agree. Now, if you have them win it, that's a whole nother thing. But we then got the one women's match of the night, Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue. Tony Storm came out with Sky Blue because Rebel and Britt Baker were out with Jamie Hayter. I did not like that. Saraya drops Britt Baker with her finisher, and Britt's back on TV
30 minutes
an hour later. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. But we saw Hayter get the win. It was after Sky Blue hit a big thrust kick, but she ate a big boot from Hayter, and then several chops, and then a major lariat. Yeah, that's going to be a good women's match next week between Hayter and Storm. And we already got the backstory. So,
as long as we don't get a random AEW flash up on our screen, like we're coming back from, a replay or something when we're just going from one moment of the match to the next, I'm good.
Yep.
Is Britt holding Hayter back?
Yes.
Okay.
I keep comparing it, and it's apples to oranges, really. But I keep thinking of when Randy Orton and Triple H and Evolution, to when Randy finally did something Triple H couldn't do, and then Triple H just made the group turn on him.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I'm seeing there.
I think Hayter's got a ton of potential. I really do.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
She's enjoying on the in the ring. We haven't seen much of her on the mic because Britt's always talking,
Right?
Which I get.
Yep.
But I think she'd be really good.
Well, and if you notice from the very beginning of their partnership, she never does the DMD when all the rest do. She just stands there.
She teased it once, but that was it.
Yep. It's a little thing I've always noticed. So, yep. With backstage, we saw Lance Archer attacking Ricky Starks, throwing him to a metal guard, and says, "Everybody dies. Everybody's going to die."
Yeah.
Lance had a white break going on tonight, not red. Yeah.
My favorite part of this whole thing was how Alex was trying to seem so, shocked by all this.
Yeah.
The camera's like from here up on him. I was trying to get a word in with Ricky Starks about the tournament, but this happened instead.
Yeah, Marvez, he's always given tough backstage things.
He is.
Yeah, he tries his best, but it just comes off corny as hell every time.
And even, he's got to be upset now because Renee gets to interview, Roosh, and he's stuck pretending that he walked up on this.
Well, not that Renee, just because she's better, she's easier on the eyes, but you cannot compare those two as an interview.
No.
Renee is 47 levels above.
Yeah.
Jackalope, whatever his name is.
Well, Marvez does a good job on the NFL channel on Sirius, but Renee's a whole nother level, like you said, Shep. She's just really talented.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's not forget, another knock against Marvez, but they brought him in as the backstage guy and then brought in somebody else to do it and then brought in somebody else to do it. And he just keeps getting pushed down and down and down.
You guys remember on the first AEW show, Double or Nothing 2019, Golden Boy was one of the commentators? You guys remember that at all?
No.
Yeah, and he never did another event because then TK went out and got Shivani instead, and then later on got Taz because it was Excalibur, JR, and Golden Boy.
I remember Excalibur and JR, but I don't remember Golden Boy.
Neither do I. I'm going to Uncle Goo right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty dang sure that was his name. Yeah. Yeah, he's not even around in the company anymore. So we then got our main event, 2 out of 3 falls. Bryan Danielson against Sammy Guevara, a rematch from their contest 2 weeks ago. These guys didn't waste any time just going at it. Pretty quick, one fall decided when Sammy hit Danielson with a steel-like chair throw, getting disqualified. So Danielson went up 1-0. Guevara continued to attack him by wrapping a microphone cable around his head, punching down with a microphone to add further damage, busting him open. Back
Went
inside
to
the
talk
ring.
on the microphone and it didn't work properly.
Yeah. Back in the ring, he's hammering down with some elbows, hits the GTH, gets the win, so we're tied at 1-1. Guevara continues to attack him, locks in the crossface submission, but Danielson gets out of it, starts throwing his trademark kicks. Back and forth a little bit. Tay keeps getting involved. Finally, Bryce Remsburg throws her out. As they continue brawling, Guevara hits a leaping knee, which sends Danielson to the floor, and then he follows it with a shooting star press to the floor. That was pretty impressive. Guevara went for a springboard cutter, but Danielson saw it coming, caught him in midair, and set the label lock in place. But Sammy got to the ropes. Instead, Danielson loaded on him with a series of kicks. Missed the big one, though, and ate a knee strike instead. Guevara went for the GTH, but Danielson responded with a reverse hurricanrana, followed up with a knee. Guevara held on to the knee, though, and reversed it into a lion tamer, which wasn't quite how Jericho did it, but good try. Danielson then got to the ropes, avoids another GTH, bounces back to the ropes, managed to hit another knee. Guevara then hits a back-flipping DDT, which was awesome. I thought that was the move of the match. But he went for the high risk. Danielson got his knees up, hammers down the elbow strikes before getting the label lock and making Guevara pass out. So Bryan Danielson, the winner, 2 of 3 falls for the main event.
And while Shep's still researching over there for Golden Boy, that DDT towards the end of the match was great. I hated the fact that the camera watched Danielson then crawl himself and position himself in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, we know you've got to move to make sure you're in the right spot, especially if you oversell, like Danielson's really good at doing. But move the camera up to Sammy only, or do a crowd shot or something. Don't let us see him position himself there. I don't know. It was just he was too far away to try to hit that, in my opinion.
It looks like I might have been wrong. The commentators were Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Marvez.
Okay.
Yeah, but Golden Boy at one point in time was all elite.
Yeah, so
it's out there.
Halfway close, halfway there. No, I thought the main event was good. I mean, Sammy Guevara, nobody gets heat like Sammy. I mean, the crowd tonight, F you, Sammy. But that guy can go in the ring. I've never said he can't.
So going in the last 6 months of AEW, AEW has broadcasted Danielson as the most pure wrestler, right?
Right.
Like that's been his gimmick, his push, whatever. Guevara can't hang as a pure wrestler. Okay.
Right.
So tonight we get Guevara brawling, cheating, whatever you want to call it, to get a leg up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say leg up, he gets a fall because of the chair, the microphone, the cut, whatever. And one of his go to sleeps was on the chin. I mean, it hit. I sent you guys a text. There's a concussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but I mean, from the camera angle, it was.
Well, even the chair throw, I'm like, why do you? I know he got his hands up. I'm like, why do you do that to a guy who has concussion history? Why even do that spot?
But so, like I said, we got 2 different styles, but I think it worked out well because you get Danielson a leg up because he gets the DQ, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Sammy goes and does the microphone, the chair, the dig, yada yada yada. He gets one, right? So all right, you're 1-to-1. You have a match, and then you have a little bit of wrestling in there over the brawl, and then Danielson goes over. So whoever booked this match, whoever produced this match, whoever was the agent, or whatever the hell you want to call them, man, hats off to them because Danielson still had some pure wrestling in there. Sammy got over as a heel, did some heel-lacious stuff, and doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm.
They both come out of this thing looking great.
Yeah.
As long as Danielson doesn't have a concussion.
I'm glad they had Sammy pass out, not tap out.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Because it was in a wrestling move. Sammy's not they didn't put him over as a wrestler that can compete because he can't. He can't do it.
He's a sports entertainer.
Yeah, well, he's too young. He doesn't have the experience that Danielson has.
Right.
So he can go out there and do a pure wrestling match.
Yep.
So I think this was the best of both worlds. It was done right. So whoever the agent was of this match, kudos to that guy or woman, whoever it was.
What do you guys think about the Fatal 4-Way match? Guevara, Danielson, Claudio, and Jericho for Full Gear for their ROH title.
Lazy booking.
Yep. Because, I mean, Guevara's not going out there to win this. This is it's going to end up being basically a tag team style match, and Guevara's going to help Jericho win.
Or if the title goes off Jericho, Guevara eats the pin.
Yeah. I mean, that would be one reason to have Guevara in there if you're planning on taking the title off of Jericho. This way, Jericho doesn't have to eat the pin.
Right.
You can't change that on an AEW pay-per-view, right?
I don't think so with
No.
ROH pay-per-view coming up on December 10th.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be Final Battle if it happens.
Again, it's like, hey, what do we do with these guys? Let's throw them together.
Yeah.
It gives us a month until the next ROH pay-per-view.
Yep, I know. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one to predict, though, kind of, points-wise.
Points-wise, yeah.
I put 14 points on the referee.
Which one?
He's going to make the pin.
I will put 100 points. Dang it. I just blanked her name.
Aubrey Edwards.
I will put 100 points that Aubrey Edwards is the ref for Jericho's Fatal 4-Way.
It's a pretty good call there.
I trump you. I'll do 200.
Ooh, too rich for my blood.
All right, I think we recapped the show. We reviewed it pretty in detail. Now it's the two big questions of the night: rating and wrestler of the night. So, Paul, why don't you lead us off first?
All right. Well, before I do that, by the way, Golden Boy was brought in on a per show basis around a gaming event that was going on where they were at.
You go.
That's why we haven't seen him since. And it was only Dynamite. Rating for tonight. I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go 8.7.
Holy shit.
There was a lot of good segments, and the raw emotion from Saraya really pushed it up there for me.
What's in your Kirby's cup, big guy?
Coke, actually root beer and ice. It was the ice. I blame it on the ice. I got brain freeze. No, but there was a lot of good segments. I enjoyed tonight's show. It was a fun show, and like I said, the raw emotion helped push it up for me. And we saw FTR on TV.
All right,
2 weeks in a row. I'll go 7-8. I'll reverse your numbers there. Higher show for me than last week. A lot of stuff I liked. I thought this was a in-ring heavy show, which was fine. But there was a few things I didn't like. But small detail, like Britt Baker being out there again for the women's match after she takes Saraya's finisher. Didn't like that. Usually they're pretty good and not having a talent come back on. One thing I forgot to mention in our review was Jungle Boy Jack Perry's backstage little promo. I thought he did well on the mic again. Interested to see what he's got up his sleeve for Christian and Luchasaurus on Rampage on Friday. But a few things I didn't like, but overall, better show than last week, in my opinion.
I think last week I gave it a 7-1. This week I'm going 7-3 because of two promo segments, the MJF and Saraya and DMD. Other than that, if you take those out of there, I'm in the 6s for sure.
Do you guys think AEW, and I know we're only, next Saturday, the 19th, is full gear, and we don't even know a majority of the card, but you guys think AEW is starting to do a better job telling stories with the matches, or no?
Nope.
It's a 50-50 split. There's some matches that there's a really good story involved, and then there's some matches like, why do we have 4 guys going for the ROH title?
So I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm thinking earlier today, I'm thinking about tonight's show and what's going on, and it's just like, and I think I've been critical in the past, like, give me some storytelling, give me some length. And right now in professional wrestling, it's hard to beat the Roman Reigns deal right now.
Yeah.
But here's what makes that good, in my opinion. He's got some sides, okay? He's the steak, but he's got some sides. He's got some potatoes, some vegetables. And the reason is he's got the Usos and he's got Sami Zayn, right?
Some Uso pebbles.
Yeah, don't be Usi on me. You're not.
Yeah, you gotta get Usi.
But I'm just saying, like, you can go into a show and still have some Roman Reigns on television, but you have Sami Zayn in a match, you have the Usos in a match, but it all plays back to Roman Reigns. It's just awesome storytelling, and I know Paul Heyman has his hands in it. Okay, and it's just like, man, can we get a 90-day feud for the AEW Championship? What would you guys do if we had a 90-day feud with a payoff of the AEW Championship? Have we ever had it? No. I'll answer that for you. We haven't. Would we love it? If they did it right, we'd love it.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because it just clicked in my head. I felt like before Cody Rhodes left AEW, there was some more long-term storytelling.
There was.
Since he left.
Yeah.
I mean,
not so much.
I mean, the Cody Brody storyline in itself spanned a couple months.
And I enjoyed that.
Cody Max.
Yeah.
I mean, that was beginning right when AEW started. I mean, before Double or Nothing was even around, and then it went clear to, Full Gear. Max turns on them, and then they get their match at Revolution.
Well, and then you had Warlord come in, and you had that little buffer.
Piece.
So you stretched it out. It worked out well. And sorry, I'm sick of some world title eliminator tournaments. Is this the third one we've had this year?
This is the third one we've had since August.
I think they've done this at Full Gear 2020, 2021, 2022. So it's going to become a Full Gear tradition probably. But they also did at Grand Slam, which that had to be a pivot.
Yeah.
Because of the Punk situation.
But no, I would and listen, you got guys like MJF and Mox who are just $1 million on the mic. They can prolong this. I know we don't want them to right now, or it's not going to happen, but it could have been so much more. And I know we were dealt a bad hand with the CM Punk deal, eating his banana bread, drinking his lemonade water. By the way, I bought some of that lemonade water because I don't drink pop. I can't drink pop. Hurts my belly, right? So I drink club soda, flavored sparkling water. I bought some of that stuff. Eat it. It's awful. It sucks.
Well, so he wasn't drinking what Moxley drinks, the Athletic Brewing.
No. It's flavored club soda. I have some in the fridge right now. If I can go get some, but maybe they're going to be a sponsor of our podcast later, so I don't want to bury them too bad. Let them know their product sucks. I bought the lemon flavor. It sucks. Go back to I'm a bubbly guy. I was a bubbly guy before Jericho popped the bubbly. Okay,
a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, I'm a huge bubbly guy, but their product sucks. Anyways, Kroger was out of bubbly, so I had to buy their shit. It sucked. Whatever.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Eliminator tournaments. Eliminator tournaments, yeah. There's been a lot of them.
I'm over.
You said the pivot because of the press conference, and that led you to banana bread and
muffins.
The banana bread did look pretty good. I'd visit that lady's bakery if I was in Chicago. It looked pretty good.
They should have went and opened up right then and there. They would have had a line out the door that night. Yeah. So, all right, Paul, we'll let you lead off again with your wrestler of the night.
Man,
you're always complaining that you're last. So when you go first.
Yeah, because Shep always steals my stuff. All right. Well, I was going to listen to what you guys had. I was prepared to go last this week. You know what? I'm going to stick with what helped me. I'm going to go Saraya just because of that raw emotion. I mean, there's a difference between trying to fake cry and trying to hold back tears, and I saw more of the trying to hold back tears than force a cry.
Yeah, that was pure. That was unscripted. That was as real can get. She's been down a long path, and she starts talking about it, and it hit hard. So good for her, man.
And a little bit of a shout out to AJ Lee. She skipped a few times as she was coming ringside. So somebody who was very inspirational to her as she was coming into WWE.
Yep, absolutely. AJ Lee put her over right off the bat.
Yep.
Was Paige 19 years old when that happened? Or
she was really young.
Yeah, she was 19 or 20.
She was 19 or 20 when she put her over, and she put her over in what, 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, I remember watching it that night. It was such a shock. It was huge.
It was
that was before NXT was on cable. NXT was an online show at the time, so not a lot of people knew who Paige was.
Right? Yep, and she comes out holding. I think the NXT women's championship.
Yeah.
No, she did not. She was debuting. It was after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
She debuted, and AJ was doing her whole "I'm the best" and won the Divas title in 3 minutes.
I remember she put over Sasha Banks for the NXT title, right?
Yeah, I think
I'm going back. Yes, I think it was Sasha. It was either Sasha
because I think it was Sasha because there was some heat over that when she was part of Saraya getting injured again in WWE.
This is a complete mind erasement, but I remember back in the day there was an NXT match with Charlotte and Natalya. Charlotte had Rick, Natalya had Brett, and for some reason I thought the title was vacant and they were fighting for it. Natalya put Charlotte over.
I vaguely remember that.
And maybe that was because Saraya vacated the title because she won the Divas title. Because we still called it a Divas title back then. I don't know. That's a long time ago, and I've slept and drank a lot. Anyways.
You almost said way too much, Shep.
Yeah. My wrestler tonight, do you guys even have to ask?
Dax
Harwood. No.
Anytime FTR's on TV, it's Dax.
No, love the guy, but I thought tonight, and I hope he's okay. I hope everything was well. He sold it like a mother. You got to go with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. Dude's a workhorse.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Sammy wasn't too far behind. I thought Sammy worked his butt off tonight.
He did.
Contrast the styles again. We talked about that earlier, but man, I was really happy with that main event.
See, I'm in the trivia mood tonight. So, can you guys tell me who Danielson beat last year at Full Gear?
I was champ last year at Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
I beat you, and I got that prediction wrong, if I remember correctly.
He beat him?
Yes, he beat this guy last year.
Yeah, because that was when
I'll even give you a hint. This was in the title Eliminator finals. Because Danielson became the number one contender, and then ended up having 2 great matches with Hangman. Or actually, he already had one with Hangman at. No. That was with Omega, but he had 2 good. Yeah, he went on to have 2 with good ones. Hangman.
Was it Cole?
Nope.
Nope. No. It was MJF.
Nope. MJF faced Darby at Full Gear last year in a great match.
And Jericho was the next one, but I don't think Jericho was around.
It wasn't Jericho. Jericho was with that was the American Top Team street fight thing last year, Full Gear.
Mox would be the only other person he's worked with, right?
And Mox was out. Mox was in rehab at Full Gear. That's why he faced this guy. I think he was supposed to face Moxley, but they had to pull a pivot.
Oh, Miro.
And now where's Miro? Not on TV at all.
Wearing a kilt with his wife on Snapchat.
Hey, he was the groomsman for
Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
He and Drew and Claudio and
Boy, you know what? How would you like to show up to that wedding, have a little bit too much to drink, and say,
man.
I'm gonna pick a fight with the wedding party?
Yeah, hit me with a Claymore, McIntyre. Come on, you big wuss.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Here, you're on the bride's side, okay? Your date is friends with JC, right? You have too much to drink. You have no idea what these people do for a living, okay? You have no idea what they are. And maybe you're their size. You're a big old brute, right? And you have too much to drink. You have too much Guinness. You have too much Jameson whiskey. And you're saying, I'm going to go pick a fight with these son of a bugs. You know, how bad of luck do you have to have in life? Because you know, at some point it happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was just like, you pick these guys to pick a fight with?
Yeah, out of all the pro wrestlers, those are 4 like the top 10 I wouldn't want to mess with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the crucifix bomb into the uppercut, into the Claymore, into game over.
Yeah, game over. Yeah, you speed accolade. Yeah.
Oof.
Good stuff.
And some of those things, they could just be shoot. They could hit you hard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that Claymore, McIntyre could dislocate your jaw if he wanted to. Easily.
Yeah. So. He'll take a bump on a fake dance floor on his shoulder just to prove a point.
Oh, good stuff.
Oh,
Imagine this in my head now. My wrestler tonight's Ethan Page.
No, of course he is.
Arguably his biggest win in AEW so far for him.
They were clean.
What?
Hey, it's your pick. I can't argue, right?
You guys took 2 good ones, so I wasn't gonna take Jay Lethal.
No.
I should have picked Satnam Singh as my wrestler.
I mean, hey, he is getting more action now. Braun Strowman.
Stokely.
Braun Strowman calling out his own coworkers.
There's a better chance of me going on a diet than picking Stokely Hathaway as my wrestler than that.
You'll do it right after Tanner shows up in a Marco Stunt t-shirt, right?
Oh God.
Same size.
Wow.
I mean, if whatever size Marco wears would fit Tanner.
Probably would.
Does that mean I need to start making dinosaur noises on here now?
No, please don't. Before we wrap up, did you guys see what Road Dogg Jesse James or Brian James said today?
I did not.
I was not on social media today.
Neither was I.
Dumb SOB. He said, I'm going to go find it so I don't misquote it. So stupid.
I just found it.
Is it on Twitter?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
You retweet, or you did the
Ryan Reynolds.
The Ryan Reynolds gift to it. I don't think Bret Hart was a great wrestler. I think I was a better sports entertainer than Bret was, and I think that's where the money is.
He back on drugs.
Oh my God.
I mean,
oh, you didn't know?
I always enjoyed Road Dogg on television.
Yeah, he was entertaining, but
I mean, he comes from his family was just awesome. Okay,
Bowl of Bob.
You know, his dad and his brothers were just awesome workers, and then hey, the guy was a veteran. He served in Iraq. Bless his heart. But you come out and say stuff like that, they're gonna say, "Dude, you're back on the sauce." Because that was dumb.
Yeah. When he said Bret Hart wasn't a great wrestler, okay, you lost me there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bret Hart still be working today if we didn't have some dumbass named Goldberg. So.
No, he would. We probably missed.
Could. Yeah.
I don't know how many more years of Bret. Yeah.
I'm not saying we got cheated. We got cheated. Yeah. Never was a Goldberg fan. Never will be a Goldberg fan.
I've been going down a Bret Hart rabbit hole on Peacock lately, so yeah.
Dude was awesome.
Yeah.
I remember, again, young kid, British Bulldogs, him and then getting involved in the Intercontinental match with Davey Boy at Wembley. Was it Wembley? It was Wembley, right?
SummerSlam?
Yeah, Wembley Stadium, man. That freaking was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God it was that overshadowed. Remember the old Road Warriors? They were so messed up they got thrown to the first match of the night or whatever.
Yep, that's when Hawk was just.
He was.
Yeah, it was Hawk was out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but.
Well.
And Brett put Davey Boy over. That was, man. If we could get a match like that nowadays, the story. I don't know. How long did it take to get to that match? 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of that nowadays. I'll take it.
Yeah, I know.
We
want to rush everything.
I know, but we got back then. They had one wrestling show. They had Raw, pre-taped Raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They might have had some Saturday Night Main Event still going, but that didn't air till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Now we got 2 primetime television shows, right? Well, I got a little mouse in my pocket. His name's Tony Khan. Anyway. We got 2 primetime television shows. Give me a 3-month feud, man. Give me a 3-month build up to this. Now that was family. It was personal. We get the little aspect there, but with our mouse in my pocket, with the AEW talent that they have and the talent they have backstage, they could build something like this. They really could.
Well, and the feuds that Tony Khan seems to prolong are the ones that have factions in it.
Mm-hmm.
JS, BCC. I remember Team Taz, Darby, and Sting, or just Darby in general. That went on for like 6 months. We don't get any individual feuds more than a month.
And I'm a little over factions, period. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in a faction. Everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let somebody work
I'm in a faction. What's your problem?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Again, I think we had a great show. We've had a lot of great shows. We're lucky. We get a lot of pay-per-view matches free on television. I think we've had that for the last couple of years. Just need to fine tune a little bit. I don't know.
All right. Before we get out of here, I got 2 questions I want to ask. 2 questions. 3 if you count. How long do you take that from him, Shep? Next Saturday night. Yeah.
Although, I'll be in Arizona when this happens. I'm playing in an NHL alum golf outing, which I know shit about hockey. I didn't even know Phoenix had an NHL team, but I'm playing in the Phoenix alumni outing. I fly out next Thursday, whatever. But I'll be in Phoenix watching the pay-per-view, drinking a couple toddies, obviously celebrating a golf victory, taking that thing too. But anyways, go.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Paul.
It's going to be a day of victories for you is what we're hearing next Saturday.
Shanks all around.
First question. All right. We talked Hogan earlier. We talked Cena earlier, and it made me have this question. Between Hogan and Cena, who do you think was the bigger outside of wrestling star?
Hogan.
You mean walking down the street and getting mobbed?
Well, yeah, in the 80s, in the early 90s, there were a handful of names you knew. Hogan, anytime anybody said Hulk Hogan, you knew who that was. Do you think John Cena's on that level, or do you think he surpassed it?
Yes, but he has a crutch. Crutch being social media.
Okay.
Hogan didn't have social media. Hogan did it by television. I'm guessing newspaper back then. I don't know whatever the heck they advertised in, right?
Television, radio, newspaper.
Yeah, his picture was, somewhere, okay? And wherever Hogan was, because that's the town he was going to work that night, people knew he was in town. So if he went down to the local diner to have breakfast, he got mobbed. Difference being now, John Cena got plastered over social media, internet, the interwebs, right? So just because I'm not a wrestling fan, but I see that he's done 500 Make-A-Wish and it comes across Make-A-Wish and I follow Make-A-Wish, I go down to the local diner, have breakfast. Cena's working that town that night. He comes in for breakfast. Hey, man, you're the Make-A-Wish guy. You're not the WWE guy. You're the Make-A-Wish guy. Man, I don't know if you can balance the two, right?
All right. Fair enough.
Good question. I think it's Hogan, but I think his brand was just that much bigger.
Okay. Second question. As we're talking about next Saturday and future events. Last year, there was the second event ever called the Squared Circle Expo in Indianapolis, Indiana. They announced that Hangman Adam Page was going to be at that event. At the time, Hangman did not have any gold. By the time the event rolled around in April, Hangman had gold. Is MJF going to have gold at Squared Circle Expo 3?
In April? Yes.
In April.
Because they've already announced him, right?
Oh, yeah. He was like the second or third person they announced.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with Tanner.
If I'm AEW, I put on Hangman a full gear and I have him go with it for a year.
If you finally put it on MJF, is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Tanner's off making predictions for next year.
If you put it on MJF here in November, at least till Labor Day weekend of next year, he's carrying that. Mm-hmm. And that's if somebody comes out of the woodwork and becomes a star.
Because the closest we've got to a whole year was Kenny won it in December 2020 and lost it a full gear last year, November 2021. That was the closest to a full year we've got.
Yep. Won it at Winners Coming and held it till full gear.
Yep. So.
Yep.
Good questions, though.
I agree.
Good job, Paul.
Yeah. I have them occasionally. It's just got to be, midnight before they come to me.
Well, since we're almost midnight, I'll let you wrap this up for us.
All right. Hey, be sure to follow the Kicking Out Podcast on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. And while you're on our social media pages, check out our merch store. You can buy some great merchandise, look great while you support a great podcast. Tanner's got on a KOP shirt tonight. If you're watching this on video, audio doesn't translate too well, so you're going to miss out on that. You got to go check out the shirt.
Yeah.
It's red, so go check it out on our merch store. We've got two of them. Be sure to listen to the Kicking Out Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. And even though Tanner said this at the beginning, that was an hour and a half ago. If it happens to be Apple Podcast, be sure to give us that 5-star rating because we are the 5-star KOP. And be sure to follow Tanner Lee on all social media at TannerLee92. Follow Austin Shepard at TheShep27. Be sure to follow myself at Paul Zartman 921. And with that, for Tanner Lee and Austin Shepard, I'm Paul Zartman. Join us again next week as we make our predictions for full gear right here on the Kicking Out Podcast.